and we have cable and things we could watch TV, and all the children, they didn't have those things down in the village. They were there just playing outside, and then we also got to teach them dances, show them songs. We got to paint for them, paint their houses, even paint their sign at their park. And then we went island hopping, which we got to see different islands and ride boats. Like, that was a new experience for me because I had never rode a boat before. So being on the boat and getting to see those experiences, and then getting to be in the water. We went to a mud volcano, which is like a mud massage, and that was also incredibly new for me. And so I just thank Sheila Tyson for giving me this opportunity, and I think it's important to have opportunities like these for girls like me in the South that probably wouldn't have gotten this if it wasn't for her, and people like you. So I think it's extremely important to always have these options available and to present them to young girls and even young boys like myself.
I just wanted to say that it's actually 72 girls this year is in the program, and Ebony was chosen off of an essay out of those 72. So we have another event that will be planned for September the 16th through the 17th, which is a mobile tour of celebrities and artists that will actually be coming through Birmingham, and they will be here from the 16th through the 18th. Ebony will participate in that program, and 72 girls out of the school system all over Jefferson County will have that opportunity. They also, in March, they have an opportunity to travel to D.C. to talk and to actually tell the legislators and the Congress people exactly what goes on in their town and cities where they come from. This is just an opportunity for Jefferson County, but it's all over the state of Alabama that these girls are chosen out of the school system. They go from the 6th grade all the way up to 26, and that's when you go to grad school. They even actually are awarded some scholarships, and they participate in that. And they go into underserved communities, and that is to give the opportunity for young girls to participate. They might want to run for public office. They might want to start their own company. They want to be the CEO of a major company. This right here gives them that opportunity and that exposure to where they can be whatever they want to be in their future. So this is one of the scholarships that she's actually going to Emory. We will assist her through that process. We will miss her, and she will come home during the summer and volunteer in the program and help other students actually get to where she's at.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations. Commissioners, next we have the approval of the minutes from July the 14th, 2022. Are there any corrections, additions, or revisions to those minutes?
Move that we dispense the reading of the minutes, adopt them as written.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the public hearings. The first zoning case we have, 220005, has been asked to be carried over. Mr. Morrison, what is the date and time for this to be carried over?
I believe the next hearing for the county commission we've got scheduled for the second hearing in August, which is August the 22nd.
That's probably going to be altered. That's ACCA week, so let's be sure before we reset.
All right, if that's the case,
let's do it the first meeting in September. If we just set that,
okay,
and that date is Ms. DiLiberto.
To check that schedule.
Well, I have someone who needs to know down.
Is it the 8th or 15th?
It's the 8th.
September the 8th will be our next meeting. You can't be here on the 8th? I'm going to go outside the rules and let Mr. Trickett say something here.
Oh, that's Turkett.
Who is this?
Phil Turkett.
My name is Phil Turkett, and I'm here to speak on that case.
And I need your address, too.
Oh, I'm sorry, 7536 Lupre Drive. I'm here to speak on that case, but before I did so, and the reason I want to be recognized is that I wanted to find out when it's going to be postponed to, because I'm out of town the first week of September after Labor Day. family situation, so I've got to travel down to Mobile that week. But I can prepare my comments, and I've got them prepared already. I can send them to you. If it's a great problem to postpone that meeting, I can give you my opposition in a letter.
That would be fine.
Okay.
That'll be fine.
But also I wanted to speak because I deal a great deal with many, many different zoning departments throughout the state of Alabama and many other states. And I feel compelled to tell you that you have one of the best.
Thank you.
I've dealt with them. They're highly professional, especially Mike, who is an old friend, but they're you should be proud of that department, sir.
He is old.
Thank you.
Had a big birthday
All
yesterday.
right. So zoning case number 1 has been postponed to September 8th. Now, I'd like to address the remaining cases. I have looked through the speakers list, and this was the only case that had opposition. Okay? I see a crowded people.
Mr. Chairman, I think others have opposition. Maybe you're saying they don't have anybody.
There's no one that's going to speak. So what I'm going to do, the case that you're referring to is the last one.
Right.
So I'm going to try to go through all of the other cases as quickly as we can within the constraints of the law, okay? Because your time is valuable, and we want to make sure that we adhere to that. Okay. With that being said, case Z22022, Tyler Wilder wants to go from A1 to C1 for a child development center in McCalla.
Yes, sir. On this particular request, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with a couple of conditions. However, staff is recommending to modify those conditions just to maintain consistency with development along this corridor. Staff is recommending condition that the site plan and architectural renderings be submitted for approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission. The architecture should be similar to those other recently approved developments along Eastern Valley Road, and that parking lot lighting shall be directed downward and away from any adjacent properties. Just to give you a quick idea, we've approved these 2 developments. One's the Dollar General, which is directly in front of this site. The other is a gas station that's further down to the southwest at the corner of Eastern Valley and Macashin Road. Both of those have some sort of like a rustic agrarian architecture, and we just want to be sure that we impose the same standards uniformly in this particular area.
Thank you. I'd like to open a public hearing for case Z2200022. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to this particular case? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed.
Mr. Morrison, I do have a comment. In your comments, you said something about the look and.
Correct.
One time I heard you say shall, and then one time I heard you say should. When we say should, that doesn't really bind anybody, does it?
Okay, we could change that language.
Okay.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing no opposition. Z2200023, Patrick Porter and Ebony Latrice Porter, owners. Ebony, as the agent, wants to go from I1 to A1 to include a mobile home.
That's correct. This is just a standard down zoning. The property was rezoned to institutional back in the early 2000s, I believe, and the church never materialized on the property, but the zoning has maintained that. They just want to rezone it to put a mobile home on the property.
Open a public hearing, Z2200023. Is there anyone speaking in favor of or in opposition to this particular issue? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There is no opposition. Z2200025, Peggy Posey, owner, Brian Presnell, agent, wants to change from A1 to CN for a neighborhood commercial to C1 commercial for a convenience store and gas station on Warrior Jasper Road.
Yes, sir. As you see on the zoning map, this property is near the intersection of Warrior Jasper Road and where Mount Olive Road and Corner School Road converge. There is a small structure on the property that is currently for commercial, that is been zoned for CN, for neighborhood commercial. It's currently operating as a bingo hall. The applicants are requesting this rezoning in order to construct a gas station on the property.
Thank you. I'd like to open a public hearing on Z220025. Same conditions. Anyone speaking in favor of or in opposition to this? Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Is the bingo hall still there?
Yes, sir. Last staff visit confirmed that, yes.
Does the applicant have any intention of keeping that open?
I don't believe so. I believe all that's going away to construct the new gas station. Gas station / convenience store.
Are they here?
I believe the engineer for the applicant is here, yes.
I'm Brian Presnell.
We got the public hearing open?
With public hearing is open,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And
I would pose the same question to you, sir, about the bingo.
name and address
Yeah.
and your,
Brian Presnell, 1703 McConnell Lane, Mount Olive, 35117. The current structure will be demolished. There's a lease on the building, and it does not expire, I think, until September or October. But my client, who is purchasing the property once it's rezoned, will demolish the existing building that's there.
thank you.
And will
That
they
is-
also demolish the bingo activity?
That
at
is
building?
correct, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Public hearing is now closed.
Move the item.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Linton Coal Company, Z220026. Tom Simmons, agent. This is located on 2542 Bone Drive Road, Trafford, Alabama.
Yes, so we've seen a lot of this in this particular area of the county. You have this legacy industrial zoning that's being turned over, and they plan on subdividing it for large lot residential development.
I'd like to open a public hearing on Z220026. Anyone speaking in favor of or in opposition to this particular issue? Again, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed.
Move the item.
Second.
Item's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, it has passed. Z220027, 4234 Red Wing Lane, wants to move from A1 C1 to agriculture to remove the split zoning.
That's correct.
Like to open a public hearing at this time for Z220027. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to this? Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Z220028, Joy Woods, a personal representative for the state of Eugene Hassel. This case is on 8140 Kimbrell Cutoff Road in McCalla. We're looking to go from an A1 agriculture to an RG single family for a garden home subdivision.
Yes, sir. In this particular request, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend a condition that a traffic study be submitted and reviewed and approved by the Department of Roads and Transportation. If you look on the screen, this is the aerial photograph of the area, and the proposed development will be of similar densities to that which is around it, and they do plan on connecting to Lakeview's sanitary sewer system.
So this is way down in the southern part of the county now.
Yes, sir. Rocksville from the county line.
How many homes? 28
77.
on 12 acres?
Yes, sir.
This is on 8140 Kimbrell Cutoff Road. Show me on that where our our property goes almost down to Kimbrell Cutoff now.
Correct. Yeah. Well, you see you see right there where it says Tuscaloosa County. That is actually the county line. Is that line that's directly to the side.
Yeah. And this is on the southern side of Kimbrell.
Northern side of Kimbrell. Kimbrell's the road that's on the south, and then the Eastern Valley borders it to the east.
Yeah, Eastern Valley and Old Tuscaloosa Highway, it connects them and runs diagonal to the railroad track.
Right, and this property goes behind where there's an existing cemetery that's there, right there. That's that small rectangular piece that's in the front that's cut out of this property.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Since this was a subdivision, and I wanted to make sure that everyone understood where it was, this was rezoning for a single piece. Like to open a public hearing, Z220028. Is there anyone in the audience who would speak in favor of or in opposition to this? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Chair will entertain a motion. Item's been moved.
Second.
I'll second. I'll second. Here we go. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
88 on 12. Woo.
All right, we have Z220029 Douglas Farms LLC. Joe Miller, agent. They want to establish 30 condominiums. Is that what that is? Yeah. Right off of across from used to be Birmingham Cadillac. You go right down on Platt and Chapel, and it's on the right there. It's
Yes,
in
sir.
the middle of Hoover.
Correct.
But it's unincorporated.
Correct.
All right. Go ahead, Mike.
In this particular instance, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval with a condition, again, for the submission and approval of a traffic impact study by the Department of Roads and Transportation. This rezoning complies with the policies of the land use plan for this area, which calls for general transition from the more commercial uses along Old Columbiana Road to the residential uses further to the west along Patton Chapel Road. This lot is recently created. It was originally subdivided, and the intended use was for a clubhouse for an adjacent garden home development to be developed. Since then, the owners have changed their plans and wish to do this condominium unit. I will note that down in November of last year, the County Commission did approve a condominium development in that curve of Patton Chapel, just further to the south, a couple of parcels away, and this would be in keeping with that, as well as the multifamily development to the north, which is in Hoover. You had asked Tuesday about Hoover's take on this particular request. I did send an email to their city planner, and their city planner did say that it did not pose a conflict with their land use plan. However, they did have concerns about drainage from the site, which is something that we'll address during the construction plan phase.
And at the same time, before we open the public hearing, if there's any in favor or in opposition to, I have spoken with the mayor and the city administrator, and they wanted to add a stipulation that they would use City of Hoover fire protection, since it was right in the middle of Hoover. And with that being added, there was no opposition. Okay. Are we okay?
What other choice would they have if they didn't?
Rocky Ridge.
Okay.
Well, that being said, Mr. President, then.
I need to open public hearing.
Oh, I noticed. Yeah, I was about to ask, are they here?
Yeah.
See if they're going to agree to that.
Yeah, they did. I watched the head. Like to open a public hearing, Z220029. The Douglas Farms condominium project. Is there anyone in speaking in favor of or in opposition to this?
What's there now?
Nothing.
Todd Thompson, MTTR Engineers, number 3 River Chase Ridge, Birmingham 35244. To address the drainage, there's an existing pond on site, and our detention will be going to that pond.
Okay.
And then the pond subsequently will be cleaned up and become an amenity to the development.
You know, we've had so much negative publicity about drainage around Patton Chapel. We just want to make sure that you do it right, and I'm going to instruct our land planning and our developmental services to make sure it is, okay?
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
What is Whose pond is it?
It's located on the property that the condominiums will be. Pond stays in place to the south of the pond is the area that the condominiums will be located.
Just don't want it to be our pond.
Will be a private pond.
Hoover's pond.
Right, be a private pond.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? This time, the public hearing is closed. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move the item as presented with the Q condition requested by the city of Hoover for the fire protection.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you very much. Z220030 Walker Family Holdings. This is for on 4380 Valley Road. Really, it's in Trustful, 3 1/4 acres. Wants to go from C1 to agriculture.
Yes, sir. Back in 2015, this property was rezoned to C1 with some covenants. There's been no development that has materialized on the property, and the applicant just wishes to rezone it back to A1 agriculture.
Okay. Like to open a public hearing this time, Z220030. Is there anyone speaking in favor of or in opposition to this? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed.
Move the item.
Second.
Item's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next case, Z220032, Richard and Karen White are the owners. Stephen Gilbert's going to be the agent. And we're talking about 853 Hickory Drive in Mount Olive, Alabama.
Yes, sir. This is a situation where the property owner and the adjacent property owner have arranged to convey some property. And this small sliver that you see on the screen is actually being purchased by the residential property owner to the east. And this would just bring the entirety of their lot, their newly created lot, which includes this portion of the property, under the same zoning classification.
I'd like to open a public hearing now for Z220032. Anyone wish to speak to this particular agenda item? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed.
Move the item.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Case passes. 0220036. Anna Villagas, owner, and wants to change from an A1 and C1 to A1 to remove split zoning. That looks pretty easy there.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir. That's
Ma'am.
We skipped over 34. 22-0034.
I did. And I
did too?
apologize. No, I checked it and didn't do it.
Okay.
Let's do this one and we'll go back.
Okay.
Z220036, change from split zoning to remove the split zoning.
That's correct.
And that is in Pawnee.
Yes, sir, off of 79 Highway. There's a small portion of the property that has C1 zoning that was done so in 1966. Currently, there's no commercial use on the property, and this just brings the property into
Brings
one
it
zoning.
together, and that sounds good. I'd like to open a public hearing case Z220036.
You mean 34?
No, I'm talking about 36 right now.
Oh,
Is
okay.
there anyone speaking in favor of or in opposition to this? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. I need someone to move it.
Move the item.
Okay, move the item second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go back to Z220034. Casey Reams, personal representative for the state of Jameis Weems. 36 lot subdivision, Forestdale, Alabama.
Yes, sir. This is more or less an infill development project. In this area, you'll notice there's subdivisions that's to the south. There is a property to the west that is already zoned R1S. The applicant just wishes to further subdivide this property and complete some of the streets in the area for just single-family residential development. This will give you an idea of how he's planning on to divide the property, and you'll see it just kind of blends in with the fabric of the established network out there. And the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval, and this is in compliance with the county land use plan.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to open a public hearing now, Z220034. Anyone wish to address this either in looks like everyone's quiet.
Mr. President, is the applicant here?
Is the applicant for the subdivision here? Apparently not.
Once you close it out, then I'll make my statement.
All right, I will close the public hearing at this time and ask Commissioner Scales.
Yes, Mr. President, I just wanted to say that my staff did get with Mr. Morrison and looked at the property, took several photos. My main concern was to make sure that the existing properties that this particular project would be complementary to the community as it exists right now. My staff is also of the opinion that it would probably increase property values, being that this will be a new, I guess, subdivision or development in that community. So I would move at this moment, at this point in time, rather, that zoning case 22-0034 be approved at this time.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Let me confer with you just before we continue on the 220029. That's the condominium issue in Hoover. And I think we made a motion, passed a motion that this was subject to the jurisdiction of the Hoover fire.
That's correct.
I think we need to make a little inquiry into that because it may be by law has to be under Rocky Ridge. But I'm been notified via.
I hate to even address it now with the applicant and that. Did they leave or yeah they did leave.
Yes, sir.
Okay, man, that's fine. Just a point of order. Hopefully we didn't do something that we can't do.
Well, then let me ask this, Mr. President, especially Mr. Morrison, for you, being that we've already published this meeting and therefore we've already taken action on the item itself. If that does turn out to be the case, I guess really that's not for you, that's for the county attorney. Then if it has to be brought back up, county attorney, if there is some type of legality surrounding that, then it would come back before the commission so that we can then make take an action at that point.
If there is a law that requires this to be in the Rocky Ridge Fire District, then it really is not going to matter.
Okay.
That law will supersede any condition that you may have.
Zoning isn't going to change, and that zoning won't be subject to that stipulation. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry.
And that was a consideration that they asked for, and stipulation that we placed into it. And if that stipulation is not there because of law, it goes away. Okay. Thank you. All right, our last case is Z220037. Susan Elizabeth Sanders Tucker, Patty Carol Sanders Wolford, Jennifer Lynn Sanders Boatwright, and Pamela Claire Sanders Gunner are the owners. This is for a residential subdivision, 57 proposed lots in Morris, Alabama. Mr. Morrison.
Yes, sir. This is a request to rezone and subdivide this large property that is along Bob Glen Road and is bordered to the north by the Locust Fork of the Warrior River, I believe. This proposed subdivision will essentially mirror the subdivision on the opposite side of the river from this one. And also, if you'll look at the zoning map or land use map, you'll see that this particular type of development, this type of density, is comparable to what is being approved in the municipalities in the area. And because of that, it complies with the policies of the land use plan where we honor the developmental patterns of the adjacent municipalities.
Okay, is the applicant here? Is there anyone in the audience? I'd like to open a public hearing at this time of Z220037. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of and opposition to this? Come on up. We ran through this whole agenda just to give you this time.
All right, great. My name's Greg Nye. Address is 880 Montclair Road, Birmingham. This is a 66-acre development. We're looking at 57 proposed residential lots going from A1 to R1 rezoning. There was some opposition at the Planning Commission. We were asked by the Planning Commission to meet with Deborah New, who is the president of the Homeowners Association for Overbrook, the subdivision to the north. We addressed our concerns regarding tree clearing, stormwater runoff to Turkey Creek. Another item that we've addressed on this is Michael asked us to go with a minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet. So that's our minimum lot size on our development, but most of the lots are much bigger than that. We've placed an area that is in the floodway along Turkey Creek. We've placed that within a conservation lot to restrict development in that area. And so I'd be happy to address any questions or comments you might have.
How big is that conservation area?
Let me look it up.
How many acres is that?
It's not on this map. I believe it's on this other one. It's 5.1 acres.
Okay.
Any other questions for that?
Yeah, I do. On-site sewer, where will you put your sewer?
That will be towards the entrance on the lower right-hand corner of the plan. I believe there's, I can give you the acreage on that as well.
Will you
It's
empty
roughly 5 acres that we have there.
Will you empty into the Turkey Creek?
It'll be infiltration. It won't be a direct discharge.
Okay. And I noticed too, there's 2 ponds on the map.
That's
But
correct.
on the schematics that I see, there's only 1 pond. What are you going to do with the other pond?
The one pond is going to be adjacent to the existing house that's going to remain. The other pond is a pond that doesn't stay full. It doesn't have a sizable watershed to keep it full, to keep it as an amenity. So we're going to remove that pond and move it to some other locations to address the detention and water quality for the development a little farther, actually to the west, near the property line at the discharge.
So there's no source feeding that second pond?
It's a small source, and so I've
Well, wait a minute.
I've
What
gone
is-
back in Google Images, and it very rarely is full. So
So what's the source? What is the source? I mean,
It's
if
just a-
you take the pond out, where's that whatever source coming in going to go?
it will eventually come down to 1 or 2 additional detention ponds that we put. We've shown 2 additional detention areas to the west of that.
Okay. All right. Where will the people that live there, where will they send their kids to school? And I'm just preliminary. Do you know what school system will?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Mortimer, Jordan.
Okay. All right. Now, our team has requested a preliminary drainage analysis. I would ask that be changed from a should to a shall, and I would even ask for a full drainage study for that whole property, especially in the light of what you told me, that you're going to be moving ponds and covering ponds and rerouting a storm drain. And
do we need to delay it?
Yeah. And I have a couple of other questions. Have y'all done a traffic study? Because y'all are got an egress and ingress right in a pretty site-limited curve.
I may need Rick to speak.
I'm
Name and address,
LBYD. Same address as Greg. We've actually been speaking with Ken Boozer. Ken said the county is actually looking at a project to enhance the intersection of Glenwood and Bob Glenn Road. So he didn't feel like any other improvements were needed for our particular development.
Well, Bob Glenn and Glenwood is on around. That's a different intersection.
Correct. But
your egress is in the curve of Bob Glenn.
Right, and we meet the site distance requirement, and Ken has looked at that, and as far as I'm aware, he had no concerns with the placement. So we'll make sure we have adequate site distance.
And also, I noticed in here you got one parking space per development. So y'all going to be crunched up?
That's what's required in the zoning regulations for single-family residential development.
Okay. So otherwise, if they have two cars, they have to park in the street?
Well, currently, one is just what is required.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
That's just listing what the requirement is in the zoning regulations.
And what are these lot sizes projected to be now that we've subtracted off 10 plus acres off the 60 something?
Over 20,000 square feet. The zoning minimum is 15,000, and so we, per direction from Michael, we've increased that to 20,000 square feet, but most of them are larger than that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for that one? Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak to this particular issue? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed.
Mr. President, I have received some opposition to this, and in light of the drainage situation, I would move to delay this action dependent on the drainage analysis that's right on Turkey Creek. And I would move to delay the zoning change.
Okay, a delay for a date and time certain? How do we want to do
Well,
that?
until these drainage studies are done.
Okay.
And we'll check into the road situation also.
Okay, we have a
So,
motion.
Mr. President, before we carry the motion, then I'd like to speak to the motion as it relates to Mr. Morrison. So I'm kind of seeing head nodding and so forth. So is there, Mr. Morrison, a time certain that you are proposing that maybe we need to consider before we finalize this action we're about to take?
What we can do, you're technically holding the public hearing today. As soon as they complete the drainage analysis and we get some feedback from staff, we can just present it back to the county commission just for regular consideration. We could, of course, do another public hearing if you so request or so require, but it would just be a matter of when we receive the information, when we can review, when we can come up with some staff comments, we can get that back before you then. I'd hate to put a date on it because I don't know the speed at which this may take or run, but like I said, we've done things like this in the past before, and so like I said, it would just be a matter of once we receive it, we'd place it back on the agenda for your consideration.
So then, Mr. President or County Attorney, would you then say that maybe the motion need to be amended to say until the information that has been requested is received, and then we can make a proper action at that time? Because it's apparent to me that we do not have to have an additional public hearing. It's more or less getting the information into the zoning office, and then therefore, once that information has been received, it'll come back before the commission, but it would not require a public hearing. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's
Mr.
correct.
Morrison?
That is correct.
Okay.
But another public hearing would be optional?
That's correct.
Okay. I want to get the study.
Okay, we have a motion.
So, Mr. President,
So for the benefit of the minute clerk, is the motion then to carry this over until such time as staff receives the information and staff will notify the minute clerk to have it placed on the agenda?
Yes.
Is there a time limit on them getting the information?
Well, we don't know what that time is, so it's hard to set a limit if we don't know when.
but what's been stated is what?
Yeah, that'd be the motion.
All right. Second.
We have a motion.
And Mr. President, let's make sure that the clerk has what
Has the
county
proper
attorney-
motion,
That's
yeah.
right, correct.
Got a lot of writing over here.
Ms. DiLiberto, would you,
It seems as if we got someone in the back.
you know, I think we closed the public hearing, but go ahead, I'll make an exception.
I guess my only question on that as far as the drainage review, I mean, that's a matter of us actually submitting construction documents. We certainly don't mind doing that, and that will be the next step in our process, but we would like to get a recommendation for approval and move forward on that subsequent to us submitting the appropriate drainage study and calculations, which will be part of our standard package that we do have to submit.
I'm sorry, though, there's a motion on the floor. We'll have to address that.
So, Mr. President, being that saying that we do have a motion on the floor,
I'd call for the vote.
Okay, we have a motion and a call to question. Would you
no,
repeat?
I already said the second, but
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that the clerk has the correct motion that was made.
Would you repeat the motion, please?
It's a delayed action for the drainage study, at which time Mr. Morrison will notify me to place it back on the agenda, and a public hearing is optional.
Is that what you want?
Yes.
Does that satisfy you?
Hold on just a minute. Is it?
That, or we can just vote it down now.
John, how you doing? They're going to see. We'll see. No, that's in March.
Shall I say yes? No. Okay.
All right, you want to clarify that for the,
So, Commissioner, we'd recommend that the motion read, as you stated, but the time frame should not exceed 60 days for it to go back on the agenda for consideration one way or the other.
you good with that? All right, the motion is amended to have a time limit of 60 days.
Or the study be produced.
Yeah.
Right.
60 days.
All right, we have a motion to that effect, and we have a second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, that concludes the public hearings. So next we have resolutions. We have 1 through 53 that were discussed and vetted in our pre-commission meeting. I know that we're going to remove item 13 for separate discussion, and there is a pen and ink on item 4 of the Department of Community Services. They left the decimal point out. That will be included in that. Is there any other items that we need to pull for separate consideration? Chair needs to entertain a motion.
Mr.
One.
President, I move items,
One. 1 through 53, less 13.
One through 53 with the exception of item number 13, as printed.
And the pen and ink change on.
Thank you, Commissioner Tyson. And pen and ink change on item number 4.
We have a motion. And we have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you very, very, very much. Commissioners, we have an opinion from our county attorney that an executive session is warranted pursuant to 3625A7A3 Code of Alabama for the commission to discuss with its attorneys the legal ramifications and the legal options pending litigation involving Jefferson counties and controversies eminently likely to be litigated. The chair would entertain a motion to retire to executive session for a period of no more than 15 minutes. Theo?
There'll be an action.
And there will be action taken after.
And Mr. President, then I'll go ahead and make a motion for us to, wait a minute, hold on, honey, before I do it, because I'm not making a motion right now, but I will, Mr. President, for public consumption, we will be able to discuss this item once we return back to the dais. Is that correct, County Attorney?
No, I don't think so.
Not to some extent. To discuss
well, I'm just talking
item.
about, the item, not what we're
Generally.
talking about in the executive session. I'm not simple enough to do that. All right, so then that being said, Mr. President, I move that we go into executive session based upon or pursuant to 36-25A-7 at this time for a period of 15 minutes to return back to the dais at that time, which has been concluded, to take an action.
We have a motion. And a second. Ms. DiLiberto, we probably need to call a roll for this.
Commissioner Knight.
Aye.
Commissioner Scales.
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson. Commissioner Stevens.
Yes. At this time, we're retired into executive session. It's exactly 10 o'clock. We will return at 10:15. Commissioners, we'll go right back here.
No, that's it. That was it. We just moved the agenda with the exception of item 13.
We did move the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Other than this one?
Right.
Okay, so I was out. Myself and those guys.
So, how is that?
There is opposition.
I have
The clock is ticking.
Zach.
Turn it back on.
Zach.
Yep, he does a lot of times. He's the only person that they don't let do that.
Ask Theo.
Oh, you're talking about free.
They signed off on things. You don't remember
Go this
when
way.
they came in
This
the
way,
meeting
Greg.
and said the personnel board approved his, he literally walked in.
It might. You say 4, and then you would. So 4, and then 1.
He may have a question for you.
Is that your picture that's all over the elevator?
Hey, John.
Oh my God.
Hey, John? You're not going, are you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Pick back up.
Okay. Today is my birthday, y'all.
Happy birthday, Michael.
Actually, it's tomorrow. I got one more day at 30.
Yeah,
One more day.
One more day.
One more day.
Oh, Tara, since they got layout, let me ask you a question.
I was thinking, this is the nickname. He's got real
He did not even give me the memo. But you will find out because she would address something, but not what they did in executive session.
How you doing?
Well, my only concern is, I guess this is it, but what they're discussing, item 13, is that what they're?
Huh?
Because they did not. I was a little concerned that nobody.
That's why they said they.
Yes. I'm still testing positive for COVID.
You remember me from City Hall?
I think that might have been.
So, or we can return to work if you're past the 5 days and you're fever free. So it doesn't, we no longer require a negative test for return to work, but.
Should have done.
I threw it.
So, yeah, I was supposed to be in the
Brought back. 13.
So we
Because
did
it was
this
something
morning.
It wasn't acted on.
So you contracted while you were there?
No. I contracted it after working
I put one of them gavels.
and had to cancel my vacation.
That's what you need to do. I am, they don't listen to me.
It was expensive too.
This makes me feel so much better.
Oh, it does. Look how cute she is.
Yeah, apparently they were having some discussion of oceans, and she was dressed for an ocean line with her life jacket. Yeah, yeah. It's like,
intentional.
Intentionally.
He and I worked together over at the city of Birmingham, but his wife was the first PIO, so I got a chance to meet her. She was the first PIO over there for city council, so I got a chance to take a picture. But we were sharing that. We work over there.
Wait, you were here for my first year, right?
I actually worked here. I worked over there.
Yeah, but you worked at Bell.
They do need some place over there.
Larry's and Bell.
I think they just don't have them all because of this. I think that's what it is. I think if I pulled it up. And here.
Oh, do they have a dimmer?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so that's what it is.
Yeah. They're gonna come and check on them. I think general services is coming to check them anyway.
If that's the case,
to hire you for some ambiance.
I'm already taking your lead. I think never finished. So,
There you go.
I think what I'm gonna do is, I just gotta see, because I don't want to take away from it. You know how you can do like a little fire pit and all that kind of stuff, so I'm gonna try to figure out if I can position it. So, I didn't put it in my landscape plan. My idea for the palm tree, I needed to see what it was going to do.
Right.
What it was going to do. The more stuff I put there, the more it's going to.
That's right.
Oh, no, I'm not Facebook. No, I've got, I mean, it's really small. No, I'm in the city, so no space at all. And that's why I'll be doing it. So I've got to figure out, I think about how to put it right there. Because I'll come to the job. So if I put a, put a privacy fence up, then I can still kind of keep it. Maybe.
Plants and lighting.
All right, where we at, Milliford? You still typing over there? On that? Still typing that resolution that we.
All right, everyone, thank you for waiting. Good to see everyone again. Commissioner, you have one item that requires some type of action that's left on the agenda. That's item number 13. Chair needs to entertain a motion for action upon that item.
So moved.
We have a motion. I'll second it. Mr. DiLiberto, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Knight?
Aye.
Commissioner Scales?
No.
Commissioner Tyson? No. Commissioner Stevens?
Yes. So the action is 2-2. It fails to move forward. And we will move to any. You need to say anything, Theo? You?
Mr. President?
I will give the county manager an opportunity first, please.
I just want to thank the CFO and Travis Halsey, Theo, for a lot of work the last couple of weeks working with our rating agencies, and hopefully we're making some really good progress.
That'll be great. I would like to say something when everyone gets through. It's Helen's birthday. Happy birthday, Helen.
I was going to say happy birthday to Michael Mark.
Well, happy birthday to both of y'all. We got donuts for everybody. How about that? We end this thing on a sweet note. All right.
I have something.
I guess you didn't want us to talk.
Let's just start with Commissioner Knight, and we'll work this way, and then we're gonna sweeten it up and have some donuts. How about that? All right, Joe, you want to say anything?
I just want to thank everybody in the county, the city, the state, once again, for making World Games an event that we can all be proud of for years to come in the future. There's a lot of hard work. We'll still be having meetings to address any remaining issues, but again, thank you, Birmingham. Thank you, Jefferson County. Thank you to all those thousands of volunteers that showed up with that smiling face. So that's what I have to say, and y'all can start fighting now.
Commissioner Scales.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, first of all, let me say to our county staff who are enjoying a wonderful birthday, I really hope you all partied like it was 1999, as Prince says.
Oh,
right?
boy, you dating yourself now.
Whatever.
I used to like that song.
But
I was thinking 79.
But I do want to say, as we move forward, I want to. Our children are going back to school. They're going to be going back by the time I think we have our next meeting on the 11th. But not just Birmingham, but Jefferson County schools, they do return back on August 9th. Really excited for our students. I know that. Yeah, I know you forgot, huh? And so that we got a lot of principals I know in my district that are moving around. But we got a lot of exciting activities that are coming up. And I would like, if you don't mind, Ms. Benson, if you would stand up. Ms. Benson has been interning in my office. She is in Commissioner Jimmy Stevens' district. Very, very bright young woman, has a very bright future. She just went over to Howard University. And so I got her pictures by the pole, and she looked very pretty. But she is wanting to, you want to tell everybody what it is that you want to go to school to do?
Can we pass the donuts while we're waiting?
Stop it, Joe. You're being distracting. Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to go to school. I want to be a nurse attorney. So I would get an undergraduate degree in nursing and then go to law school. And ultimately, I want to work for the United Nations as an international attorney.
So, let me tell you the reason why I had her to say that, because I'm sure that all commissioners up here, particularly Joe, when you're talking about Youth Leadership Birmingham, we gave money to them. She was one of the students.
Really?
Yeah, so when we all went over to Youth Leadership Birmingham, she was there, and she then, my staff followed back up with several of the students. She wanted to come and intern. I think she has an exciting future ahead of her. And I know as long as, like what the Opportunity Commissioner Tyson provided for the young lady that came from Winona High School, exposure is everything. Doesn't matter about the race of the student, doesn't matter about the zip code. What does matter is the fact that you're giving them an opportunity of a lifetime. And this is how you really pass the torch responsibly. Not just passing the torch, but passing it responsibly. So when you have a student who has had the opportunity to be around us, and we've had a little small trinket of their to attribute to their success, that's what it's all about. So as many events back to school that we can do, I would encourage us to make sure that we do. The violent activity that's happening in Jefferson County, I will say it begins by education exposure. Education exposure. And when these children see that there's more to it than where they live and in the zip code in the world that they're surrounded by, they are going to be game changers. So if you notice, she said international. The student that was in Commissioner Tyson's district from Ramsey, when we did that with him, the first thing he said was international. These children are thinking more globally than we are allowing them to think. That's why we got to give them opportunities. So I just wanted to make sure you all knew, give her a good hug. She got on a mask, so you can hug her, but more importantly, wish her well. And anyone else that you come in contact with, make sure that you do that. So, Mr. President, I just wanted to make sure that we spoke on that very quickly.
Thank you. Before
Young lady, so what she was basically saying is that I inspired you, right?
Before we move on, we need to consider one item of new business, and that is going to be to move our meeting date, the second meeting in August. It is scheduled now for the 23rd and 25th, and we're going to be at the ACCA conference during that time. Yep. Does anyone have any problem with having that on the 18th?
I have a problem with having the committee on the 16th. I'll be out of town.
I understand. We would have them both on the 18th. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me check.
Is that okay?
Can you do 18th, Tyson?
That morning, if we could have the.
You can roll right out of budget meetings into a commission meeting. What time is your budget meeting?
Back in
all morning. So if we could start a commission meeting at 1 o'clock, that'd be great. If not, I guess we could reschedule our budget meetings.
Let's do it at 1 o'clock then. Commissioner Ammons, what?
Commissioner Ammons can't do 1 o'clock if we do. He's got a speaking engagement.
Where? When?
On the 18th, he'll be speaking at a chamber in Leeds. So.
They got a commission meeting.
2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Stick to it.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock on the 18th. Is that okay?
So help me to understand, what time is the committee meeting on the 18th?
We will do them both. They will be concurrent. We will go through our committee meeting
2 o'clock.
and then go directly into commission.
I get that, but what time is the committee meeting?
2 o'clock. We'll do 2.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, how come we couldn't do the committee meeting that morning, County Attorney?
Well, while we're all here, why don't we just do both?
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I'm trying to figure out why does it have to be at 2 o'clock to do both?
We have budget meetings set up already. We can change them. But
I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, if we trying to modify so we can get out of here, is if we do it that morning, you'll have the rest of the day. I would think we should be out of here in 2.5, 3 hours to do both.
It's your call.
On the 18th, we're
going to do both. Why can't we do it that morning?
What time
we
is
can
you?
do it that morning. We can change our budget meeting.
Yeah, just.
Well, I appreciate it.
That'd be easier, probably.
We can change it.
Tell me what time your budget meeting start?
8 o'clock.
Okay.
Michael, is there any issues on any kind of zoning hearings or public hearings that you're aware of?
Anytime.
We were looking to schedule those for the 25th of August, but we're just going to move everything to your September meeting.
Okay.
So could we still not have our committee meeting then at 9 o'clock? And then we have the commission meeting immediately following the committee meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so come on, Mr. President, let's call for the vote.
I move for consideration of a new business.
Second? Come on, Mr.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor for the one item of new business, say aye.
Aye.
Got to be a roll call?
Commissioner Knight?
Aye.
Commissioner Scales?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson? Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
I move the item.
Second.
Change the date and time of the meeting for the August 18th to have both pre-commission and commission meeting starting at 9 o'clock.
Second.
Go ahead, Theo, you need to address this.
We're going to have to do something as it relates to agendas because you're going to have, you have two different agendas and there's no way, it's going to be tough.
The system won't allow you to generate a commission agenda before committee has been completely closed.
Okay, so then can we do our meeting then at 9 and then 11 o'clock we have our commission meeting?
I can draft you an agenda based on the committee agenda, as long as nothing changes.
Well, let's just don't have anything controversial in the committee.
Right.
It's,
So I just want you to be aware in terms of the way the system works, so it's going to be pretty taxing to get.
I get it, but if we have that 2-hour window, and we probably, Mike, we won't have probably any zoning pieces on that, so then that knocks out the majority of your meeting, right there.
I have a question, a legal question. Do we have to have a committee meeting? Okay, so that, rules of organization, so that. Okay, I didn't know if there's any statute that. All right, let's do it.
If you did an agenda and everybody decided that those effectively.
Consent agenda.
yeah, if we've got a consent agenda, and we got a consent commission.
You could do something like that.
Yeah.
So if it's controversial, then put it off.
All right, we have a motion on the floor for 9 o'clock on the 18th.
Right.
You sure we can't just do 2 o'clock, and that way we'll have it all done?
That's
And let them do their business?
No, but I'm saying, come on, Jimmy.
I think the motion is to have a both.
Well, you have it at 9. According to Miller, she's saying that, they can both mirror one another, and then if whatever the adjustments that need to be made, then it shouldn't.
We have one at.
We can have one at 9 and one at 11 that'll give her whatever chance to modify what she needs to do. We have no zoning cases.
All right, we have a motion for 9 and 11 on the 18th.
No, the motion is starting at 9, have a pre-commission immediately followed by a commission. That was my motion. And now
Would you like
we
to
have a second?
Well, okay. So then, would you like to withdraw and just amend your motion to make it 11 o'clock?
No, because then we got an issue with.
Steve came.
Speaking at a Leeds chamber that day, so he has to drive to Leeds, speak.
Right, but I mean, what is it at 11 o'clock?
It's at 11:30, but he has to drive to Leeds.
Oh, okay. That's why you were refraining from 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, well then immediately following, and then the county attorney can direct staff to just already have the agenda to mirror the committee meeting. So then, whatever adjustments we need to make from there, we can do that.
Is that a second?
I already seconded. All right, come on, roll call vote.
Commissioner Knight?
Aye.
Commissioner Scales?
Yes.
Commissioner Tyson? Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Now we can just tell the Lord forgive us
Now,
of our calories.
That puts some pressure on you that, apologize.
We'll be mindful of those.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Items.
That's
All
right.
right, you know what I'm saying?
I just wanted to say that we have had so many girls that go through this program for the last, I think, about 22 years. They will be having it will be a big event coming on the 16th, 17th, and 18th. And it is structured around girls of color in a low-income area. So they will have BET and several other agencies will be bringing in a bunch of celebrities in the civil rights district. So I will inform y'all on everything that they will be doing when they come to Birmingham. But they are traveling to 32 states, and Alabama is one of them, and Jefferson County is one of the counties that they picked out of Alabama.
Right. All right. Perhaps you can do a proclamation for the commission on that. All right, guys. I appreciate everyone staying. We were a very long agenda today that covered all aspects of county government, and we appreciate the participation of the commission. Always participate the elective process, the due process to make sure that the voices are heard and the citizens are well represented. And I feel like that each district, the voice of each district was heard today and will continue to be heard. And we certainly do appreciate your participation. And with that being said, this meeting is recessed until further notice.